All right, Danny, let's get to work here. And OG Anunoby and Josh Hart are going to play, which OG in particular, I'm very skeptical of how effective he's going to be able to be. I'm kind of thinking, 2021 James Harden after the hamstring, 2021 Bradley Beal after the hamstring is kind of what we're looking for. And Hart, too, it may not be as obvious for him moving around because you can run, but I expect him to be kind of limited too. But they are kind of out of body, so if they can just get some minutes from these guys, that's probably what they're hoping for at this point.
Exactly. And it's not only do you play, but it's what can you do when you play, and how will the Pacers challenge those two individuals who are both starting in this contest? That's going to be big. The other part of this for me is which Jalen Brunson do we see? Which Tyrese Halliburton do we see? Both of those players, their game, their effectiveness has vacillated a lot, and that's part of why the later stage of the series have been so many blowouts. It's like it seems like they've been operating on opposite cycles, where Halliburton's had some big games, Brunson's had some bad games, and then vice versa.
Yeah, because how aggressive is Tyrese Halliburton going to be early is going to be a huge question for me. Is he going to kind of sit back, or are they going to run every play for him? They're going to run every play for him at Josh Hart and OG Anunoby. I'd really love to see that. And Siakam surely will be testing OG Anunoby early as well. But I think on a hamstring, you can slide laterally. I think that's one thing you could do, and you could probably shoot a stationary jumper, and maybe that's all they need from him. So yeah, OG, yeah, he can't even run. This is insane. Look at him. He can't even jog. Maybe it'll loosen up a little bit for him, but it's one of those things in the state that it's in when he tries to make a move, his first explosive movement, that's when you tear it worse. So it is Nesmith on Brunson, as it's been since game 3. They go after Halliburton right away. Halliburton is hiding out on Hart. Hart not exactly moving with a ton of fluidity either. Tough fadeaway by Brunson, and that dropped. That was a good contest. But I thought the Pacers maybe should have brought someone there. They had 4 Knicks all standing right next to each other. DiVincenzo is guarding Halliburton. Pick and pop Siakam, and that's where he had some office hours in game 6.
Yeah, it was a big surprise how much Siakam did from the free throw line during that game 6 victory.
Back screen for Brunson. Now they try to get him back on the ball. Brunson, of course, only the third most prominent Knicks injury as Brunson fires from 3, but Hartenstein set the screen and then gets the offensive rebound. Hart and Anunoby's just going to fire, and it's good.
It.
I mean, look at him running back though. That is, he cannot run.
He can amble.
There's Nembhard going through Brunson. Nice physical finish there by Andrew Nembhard. Knicks have hit a couple of tough shots to lead 5-4 early. Trying to involve Halliburton in the pick and roll again. They put 2 on the ball. Then Halliburton does a good job hedging back to Hart. They rescreen, and that's going to be a foul on Aaron Nesmith running through Hart, and that cannot feel very good for Josh Hart with that abdominal injury.
No, it cannot. And what these guys can take physically will be a huge question there. And yeah, that's a common foul. Nothing unusual there.
OG will set the screen now. Yeah, I mean, just watch him for a possession. It's insane how little he can move. Here's DiVincenzo finding Isaiah Hartenstein for the little floater, but left that short. He had to kind of rush it. Here's Nembhard as Halliburton got off the ball. Now they're going to get Halliburton back involved again. Good switch by DiVincenzo to deny him, and now they are forced to go to Nembhard as the pick and roll creator. Here's Turner, and a couple of pick and pop 2s by the Pacers have them in the lead 6-5.
But that ball denial working on Halliburton, I'm clocking that and remembering that for a little bit later.
Yep. Nembhard is on Brunson now. I don't know if that's going to be the matchup with Nesmith getting the early foul or not. There's OG closed down by Siakam. OG can't really move. He's going to just fire it late clock, and somebody makes that one.
Oh, wow.
Ridiculous shooting. That was a 2. But Knicks have not gotten a good shot yet. Here's Halliburton setting up a wide open one from Turner, and Miles Turner.
And that's why you want
Pacers.
Tyrese Halliburton having the ball instead of Andrew Nembhard. He creates extra attention and generated an open corner three there.
Easily, yeah. And I like having Miles Turner in the corner there. There's Brunson working into a spot. Oh, they completely lost DiVincenzo. That was their best shot. Of course, an offensive rebound. Missed that one. Tipped a rod. Here come the Pacers. Siakam's running the floor. Nembhard doesn't get it to him in the middle. Halliburton is open on the left side. That misses. Pacers are getting open shots in every possession, though. Now Hart on the push. Tries to draw the foul. They don't give it to him. Yeah, this is a Mark Davis crew, so those will not be available. And Siakam got easy separation there on Anunoby.
And you could see how limited OG Anunoby couldn't respond to Pascal Siakam's movement there. He's just so limited.
Yeah, it's the left hamstring for Anunoby, and having to push off and go forward, that's where the hamstring is involved. Good dig by Halliburton on Brunson, and Brunson picked up his dribble, and we're going to get a loose ball foul here on Hartenstein.
Not the way you want to necessarily get your first here, though they have more center depth now that Precious Chua is basically a backup five again.
And DiVincenzo was holding his back. Nesmith ran into that, so maybe another issue. Nice pass there, backdoor. So this is now every Knick who's injured at this moment. Hartenstein is looking a little gimpy as well. Two on the ball here on Brunson. Brunson looking to make a pass. Hart was open at the foul line, and that's not good enough for Nesmith. Nesmith's just been losing DiVincenzo. That's the one guy who actually can make a shot on this team. But then Nembhard comes right back with his three, erasing the defensive mistake on the other end as New York couldn't get matched up.
And Indiana can do some pretty aggressive threat assessment here, considering how many guys can't really move or can't do their normal stuff. You can just make sure you guard the guys who can move and shoot, and you'll probably do okay defensively.
Yeah, I mean, you see OG again, like him trying to pick up Nembhard in transition and close out him. He just couldn't move.
No,
like I think you've gotten a couple of minutes from him. But I mean, the big problem, the reason I think OG is back, honestly, is that Hart is also compromised, right? So they don't have any wings at all. And Boyan is out. Randall is out. They have no forwards who are even available. And so is it worth it to have him out there at this point? So, all right, you bring in McBride for him, but then you're still relying on Hart as well. I mean, to not have either of those guys is such a killer.
To not have either of them, I think they should be playing. Like, to me, Miles McBride is a superior option to Anunoby in particular right now. And so now the defensive assignments get tougher, especially if Hart is compromised, because we saw Siakam go pretty hard after Hart once he got limited. But considering what OG Anunoby can and cannot do out there, and we got a question from Kanata: do these Knicks injuries feel like a clear sign they've been playing guys too many minutes or more bad luck? Most of their injuries are bad luck, but not all of their injuries are bad luck. So Julius Randle, bad luck. Mitchell Robinson, bad luck. I don't consider OG that. It's the hamstrings are often they can be an overuse injury. And then Josh Hart's, I don't know well enough, but I'm guessing an ab strain is bad luck.
Yeah, because that's not really like an overuse type of thing, like something that happens when. No. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe it is something that happens.
There is also the argument, and it's a little bit nebulous, but the argument is that the more time you spend on the floor, the more time randomness can happen, and that randomness can lead to injuries too. And so, overuse are the ones that are fair to ascribe. I would say it's a lot less fair to do the like random chance ones, but it is a consideration. But I'm not gonna vilify Tibbs for those. I don't think that's fair.
I mean, watching these Knicks move around, it would be absolutely pathetic if the Pacers lose today.
Yeah, it would be concerning for them. Do the Celtics have preference in who wins this? Based on how OG Anunoby is moving, I think it's the Knicks. Though you could argue that if the Pacers if the Pacers lose this game, then it would have been them. But
well, and the Pacers' offense is explosive enough that they can easily win games in that series just by getting hot. And I mean, Brunson too is still limited, right? If you had full Brunson, then that's one thing. But
yeah, so I think it is actually. I think they would actually face the Knicks, knowing what we know right now about availability, and the Knicks would get healthier, hopefully, over the course of that series. But also, they just don't have that many bodies left, and so you run into those sorts of problems. Mark brings up that Evan Fournier would have gotten minutes in the series, and yeah, that's true. I mean, Fournier, but they got guys in the Fournier trade that are playing. You know, Alec Burks has become important in the series, and Bojan would have been were it that he were healthy. So like they created more options with that trade. It's just that one of those options has been hurt.
Yeah, and Bojan, another guy, just bad luck
Totally.
there with some falling on his foot. Yeah, Anunoby is out. They're sticking with Hart. Nice rejection of the screen by Brunson. He goes in, and they lose him again. They lose DiVincenzo again.
How does that happen?
I mean, when you allow someone to change sides of the floor, it does make the closeout responsibilities a little more difficult. And now they go with Hartenstein on Siakam, and Indiana can't miss a mid-ranger here early. So Hart going to try to initiate offense here. Brunson working more off the ball than he did in Game 5. Brunson working. McBride, that time Siakam closed him down nicely. He'll fire over Siakam. Missed it. Tipped out. Nembhard goes for it. It's loose. Hart underneath. Not going to go up with it. He'll back it out. Here's DiVincenzo's three on the move again, and he's got 3 3-pointers now.
That was great movement by Josh Hart to kind of create a screen with his body and generate the space for DiVincenzo.
And that right there is the only way that the Knicks are going to win this game, is by out-efforting the Pacers. Now Nembhard off the screen. Again, they're going with him as the main guy. Here's Siakam on the drive, cut off nicely by Hartenstein. Haliburton not going to get a touch on this possession, but that's fine, as everyone in this game is going to hit jump shots relentlessly, it would seem.
And that's not usually the story of Game 7s.
Here's Brunson getting to his spot. He pulls up. Now they
running off a make. Love it.
Back to Shepherd. Shepherd lays it in easily. I love the Pacers have gotten 2 buckets off of Knicks makes within about 3 seconds each. Yeah, just giving up even 7 3-point attempts is too many. Here's Hart going to try Haliburton. Has to go to the fadeaway, and he scores in the lane. He did not look comfortable, but was able to get it against Haliburton. Haliburton maybe could have been slightly more physical there. He basically just completely backed off him. Now Siakam working on Hart. Hartenstein going to come over. Turner's wide open in the middle. And no foul there. I thought Turner got pushed.
Looked like Hartenstein got him with his arm.
Now it's DiVincenzo. He's stripped by Haliburton, but a foul. Haliburton looking for the review. It'd be a little early for that at this point, I think.
And that's only his first foul. It's 2 free throws. Unless it's like 100% that you do that. And yeah, that would have been Hartenstein's second. Looked like he might have gotten some wrist there.
So yeah, there was apparently a timeout. Are they going to challenge this?
I'm not actually seeing a formal okay, there is now a formal marking of the timeout, because before there wasn't. But yeah, this is an Indiana timeout. Oh, and it is a challenge. It is going to be challenged.
Yeah, things getting a little chippy here. Another way that maybe the Pacers could figure out to lose this is if they get involved with some sort of technical fouls or ejections.
So from Camera Hammer, how much of the Knicks How much of the Knicks' offensive rebounding is effort versus scheme? I would throw in a third variable, which is personnel, though that has been impressive in the absence of Mitchell Robinson that they've still been in. It's a combination of both. The Knicks send more guys to the glass than the average team does, and they have basically everybody is empowered to do it if the opportunity presents itself, and they have guys who really do that. So scheme is a part of that, and then it is effort, of course, because and it's also playing the guys who put in that kind of effort.
Yeah, so I don't love the EV on this challenge here. The question was, what is the EV? Would you forfeit your ability to challenge if it meant starting the game up 3-0? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even the best challenges are going to, like, could save you 3 points at most.
Yeah,
Yeah, that looks to be a clean play there. He hits the ball first and then the hand as the ball's already going away. So I think this should get overturned.
Is there a Hawks Blazers potential overpay? Are there Hawks Blazers potential overpay guys after a lucky Eastern Conference Finals appearance? There are, however, for these two teams, there aren't that many, just because the guys that are going to hit free agents are or free agency are more known commodities, and the guys who could have been that haven't really played. So, like Jalen Smith, I had thought about this with him as a possibility, but he's been marginalized in the rotation, so it's probably not going to be him. Like Siakam and Anunoby are going to get paid. And the guy, maybe Obi Toppin, maybe that's something there. But are they reviewing the interaction with Dante and Siakam? I don't think I've heard anything on that yet. I believe they'll do the challenge. And we know they're doing the challenge. We don't know if they're doing anything else.
Yeah, so Siakam, this is Stephen Bondi says Siakam was doing his usual stall tactic so the Pacers could decide whether to challenge. And that's why there was a altercation.
Do you think that a healthy Julius Randle would have done well in this series? I think he would have had a place. He could help the Knicks have another. Oh, here we go.
All right, here we go.
And that double technical on DiVincenzo and Siakam, I hope that doesn't lead to anything later on. I don't think that needs.
Did Dante do anything? Yeah, he ran up to Siakam and bumped into him to try to move him out of the way so he could shoot his free throws and not let him stall for the challenge. I thought I saw that.
I saw it too.
I get so bored with these altercation reviews that I need to just pay better attention to them sometimes.
What is the penalty for a bench player leaving the bench? Well, if it's a player who never plays anyway, I don't know that it matters, because James Johnson was like out there on the floor, but I don't know. Should this be a flopping penalty? Oh no, absolutely not. Like there was contact here. Like that's I have no problem with that being nothing. Like he gets it stripped. He's trying to control it to get the layup.
Yeah, so the Pacers have only missed one shot so far. It's McConnell double teamed on the sideline. Toppin has to recover it. Now Halliburton gets into the lane. He's got Toppin wide open for three. Again, that's just the pass. And now he's going to get a little layup, but miss it underneath as Toppin airballed it. But that's the pass that Halliburton can make, is back over his shoulder. That's not a pass a lot of guys can make. Here's DiVincenzo beating Halliburton and missed that three. Hartenstein fighting relentlessly on the glass, but couldn't recover it. But that at least takes Indiana out of transition.
Yeah, Indiana's shot chart is ridiculous right now because they're actually shooting worse in the restricted area than anywhere else.
Have they missed two from there?
They're 2 of 4, yeah.
Toppin looking to interact with McConnell. DiVincenzo points the second man away. Nice flare screen set by Turner to set up Halliburton for three, and Indiana's up 6 now. That's a nice way of using Halliburton off the ball. He is their best shooter. McConnell trying to hound Brunson. He wants to involve Halliburton. who is now on McBride. They got two guys hanging out. Oh, and Toppin, I mean, just not good enough there by Obi Toppin. Like, there's no need for him to just fly at him in that way and give up a foul with 6 on the shot clock. And he injured himself for his trouble.
It looks like that is a non-shooting foul. It should be a non-shooting foul. And that is the second on the Pacers. New York has one.
Yeah, you could see the flare screen set by Turner. That's just an improvised play. Nice one to get Halliburton open. Hart goes right into TJ McConnell on what might have been an illegal screen, but that releases Brunson to get to the foul line for a pretty open jumper. Halliburton beating McBride's denial, goes right in. The 360 pass to Turner in the corner, but then Turner put it on the floor, and this is going to be a jump ball here.
Oh,
and Hartenstein looked like he hurt his ankle there. He's just going to get up immediately and try to walk it off.
And he's been Hartenstein to me. I can't say it's directly connected to it, but he's been a little bit worse since he had. I think it was that shoulder issue. He's been a little bit more limited since then.
Yeah, in Game 4, he doesn't have like the cupping on there. I think he's probably okay. He did that before Game 5. He had those little like cupping circles on there. It's unclear whether cupping actually works or not, but. So another jump up here. The Pacers don't exactly have a wide enough space, and Mark Davis is saying, yeah, you got to move over a little bit, but I mean, that's not very much space at all for Turner to tip it to between the two guys. And Hartenstein just tips it out of bounds.
So it's still 11 on the shot clock for the Pacers because you don't reset it. It wasn't a controlled possession.
Halliburton going to pop out off the screen. Now he'll interact with Turner. Turner on the pop. Brunson coming off as Shepherd. Halliburton has to shoot a tough shot.
I guess they're missing.
Yeah, if the Pacers just get to the bottom of the free throw line, they'll just make every single one. It's like an 80s basketball video game where there's just like the one spot you just hit shoot from and it goes in every time. Here's Brunson blowing past Shepherd. No foul call. He's down. Toppin on the push. McConnell, weak side Shepherd. Halliburton eludes McBride. He's got all day. Tyrese Halliburton is on fire right now.
Halliburton up to 8 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3.
Brunson trying to get to his spot into the lane. No help at all, but he misses it. Tipped around. Shepherd did well to recover the rebound. Now Halliburton trying to push it up again. Shepherd, McConnell. He's got Brunson on him. He should just go. Instead, it's Halliburton moving without the ball. Another 3. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Tyrese Halliburton on fire right now. He's got a personal run going, and the Knicks have got to talk it over. Halliburton has all 11 of his points, I think, in the last probably 5 possessions.
So he scored their last 11 points. It's an 8-0 Halliburton run, and then it's an 11-2 Halliburton run.
And the shooting overall from the Pacers has been extremely ridiculous.
Yeah, so overall, here's Indiana's shot chart so far. 2 of 4 in the restricted area, 2 of 2 upper paint, 4 of 4 mid-range, and then they're a light 6 of 8 on threes, 7 of the 8 above the break. So that means they're 10 of 12 on jump shots, and they're 12 of 14 on shots outside the restricted area.
Yeah, I love the way they're looking for Halliburton off the ball. That was something I thought could be a big part of his game when he came out, because I didn't think he was going to be this pick and roll threat, which obviously was completely wrong. But I did think he was going to be a really good shooter, which turned out to be right. And this him moving off the ball like this, like he really, when he gets hot, there's just, other than Lillard and Steph, there's really no one else who can shoot it like this, I would say.
So we got a note from Hirsch on YouTube. He's an MD, says cupping equals placebo. And then there was another comment on playback that I liked, which is like, cupping is a great visual indicator that you're suffering from an injury, which that is a part of it too.
Oh, and here's a almost steal by McConnell on the inbounds. Achua
Nate,
getting
do you
his
want to guess
first
the
one.
Pacers' offensive rating right now?
175.
200.
Ha! Yeah, it's been a slow-paced game, even with some of their fast-breaking stuff. Brunson trying to back down into the post, and they'll get McConnell for a chuck. No shot. Reset the shot clock
But
to
it is the
14.
first foul in the last 2 minutes, which I got wrong once yesterday, so I'm going to try to be better about that today.
And I do like that approach for Brunson. He has the strength advantage on McConnell, so when he's being guarded by him to try to get into that mid-range from the side rather than up top where it's a little harder maybe to bring help. Now Siakam switching on to Brunson. DiVincenzo. Shepard did well to close him down. DiVincenzo from 2-point range drains it, but that's another difficult shot. I mean, the Pacers obviously are shooting exceedingly well, but so are the Knicks. They've had a lot of really contested, those two OG ones in particular. Now Halliburton finds Toppin underneath. McConnell on the cut. Fadeaway over hard is good. Beautiful Pacers offense. Cut along the baseline by Toppin. Halliburton finds him, and then the cut again by TJ McConnell. 2 screens on McConnell. He gets through it. Brunson didn't seem to want to attack. They'll go after Halliburton again. He tries to reject it into the lane. Halliburton was lurking behind him, and Brunson left it short.
And this is a much more limited Pacers rim protection group, but the Knicks
Uh-oh.
aren't
Uh-oh.
Oh!
Halliburton in transition again. This has been a devastating shooting performance by him in the first half. All 14 of his points coming in the last 3 minutes or so. Now McBride on the pick and pop. Halliburton cuts him off. McBride, another tough 2-point jumper. And Halliburton says, throw it to McConnell. Let's see. They got to screen off the ball for Halliburton here. That's what they're going to do with Toppin. Halliburton says, now go the other way. Pick and pop. Almost threw it away. McBride still trying to deny Halliburton. They get it to him. 10 to shoot. They don't get the 2 for 1. Siakam's going to have to try Achua here. His former teammate goes to the mid-range pull-up. Finally a miss. Tipped around. Knicks have it. They can hold for numbers. 1 here. They're going to throw it ahead. DiVincenzo is fouled and does not get the bucket, but that's actually a bad play by him. Maybe you could say if you just have a wide open layup, it's worth it in that circumstance. But yeah, I mean, I think maybe Halliburton was a little tired, and that's why he pointed for the ball to go to the opposite side initially. I'm like, hey, the quarter's almost over, buddy. You're on fire. Go get the ball.
And so this is Alec Burks coming in basically as a defensive sub.
Yes, nothing says how thin they are more than that. And you would think if Anunoby were at all capable, that they would have put him in this circumstance. So DiVincenzo missing that free throw. He's going to try to bother McConnell. McConnell almost stepped in the backcourt, and it's tipped away from behind. Knicks have time here with 3. It's Hart. Back to DiVincenzo. His three-pointer is long, and McBride can't tip it in time. So Indiana, 39, New York, 27. And the Knicks, I think, actually did well to get to 27 in the end. But Halliburton, on the Game 7 stage, we're not going to see the non-aggressive version of Halliburton today, it would seem.
And I mean, the Knicks, for their own right, they're 7 of 11 on jump shots, 3 of 4 from mid-range, 4 of 9 from 3. You don't expect that to necessarily continue either. Even we've brought up Indiana because Indiana's is preposterous, but the Knicks are fortunate to have as many points as they have so far. Indiana cleaning the glass, first shot half-court offensive rating so far in this game is a 211.8. I don't know that I've ever seen it for a sample as large as a quarter to bet that high. In part, that's because you only get first quarters and then you build it out. You can't do quarter splits there. That's ridiculous. If Tyrese is playing this well, do the Pacers have like a 20% chance of making the finals? If Halliburton can be like, the first 2 months, Halliburton, 20%, I guess if you count injury risk in both directions, I think it's probably a little lower than that, but not that far. Like that's probably like they can take games off of the Celtics. They can take a game or two off the Celtics even without that, but that makes them harder to stop. But the Celtics do have good personnel to make Tyrese Halliburton's life hard, especially because the Pacers don't play as many of their threats. They don't have Buddy Hield anymore, all these other things. So they can devote more of their perimeter resources at Tyrese Halliburton. Should the Knicks start blitzing him? I mean, they should seriously consider it. And the other thing, we saw this at a couple possessions, Miles McBride did it well, is more aggressive ball denials. I think that can work. That can sometimes work well with Halliburton too. Steven says not what this guy's complains about traveling, but Halliburton takes like 6 steps on these. His kind of step back into it does have a lot of little shuffles involved in it. I don't see it called very often. They could get to that. I mean, it's one of the ways that like they could tighten up offense a little bit is by being more diligent on travel calls. I've harped on this with illegal screens a lot, which was a big story at times in games 6 of Thunder Mavs last night. But that traveling would be another one they could do. Who should Celtics fans root for? Based on the physical capabilities of the players involved, I would be rooting for the Knicks to win this game. Their guys just aren't ready.
Yeah, I agree.
And so you can, and maybe they get better over the course of the series, but the Celtics would have, because that series starts on Wednesday, they would have a window, or sorry, that series starts on Tuesday. So they would have a window where at least 3 of the Knicks principal players aren't right. And so you can try to get a couple of those, and then where you're going from there. Yeah, I was thinking the West Finals started first, but it's the East Finals that starts first.
You think we see OG again?
No, if I had to guess. Maybe they try to do him at the beginning of the second half. Like if he's not in right now, I don't think he's coming back. OG didn't get hurt; he is hurt.
What's happening here?
We're getting a special new experimental camera angle.
So yeah, who was that? Neesmith, who didn't play all that much. I guess. Yeah, we just missed 30 seconds of action on the ABC broadcast.
Woo!
Nice job, guys. But Neesmith got a layup, since you guys probably didn't see it, as DiVincenzo is going to get fouled along the baseline here. All right, well, at least Breen is apologizing for it. Yeah, McConnell moving off the ball. Now Jackson up top wants to get the handoff. Good denial by DiVincenzo. So they'll go Siakam. Siakam finding McConnell in no man's land along the baseline. McConnell working Achua. Now finds Jackson. And Isaiah Jackson, the greatest non-dunk finisher in NBA history, puts another one in.
And even though it's only 4 points, every point the Pacers score without Halliburton on the floor is harder for the Knicks to handle.
Nice little handoff action there, but McBride can't knock it down. And is that another? That's a second loose ball foul on Hartenstein, both of which occurred going for offensive rebounds, and frankly, both of which probably didn't need to be called, at least for game flow purposes. Like one, he just knocked it out of bounds, and the other one, Jackson was going to get it. And Billy Kennedy called both those fouls, too. Here's McConnell along the baseline, goes up, and laid it in. Jackson was there for the offensive rebound regardless, and this is now an 18-point Indiana lead with no Brunson on the floor. Good pressure by Neesmith against Burks, who's got a lot of the point guard duties here. Gets the screen from Hartenstein. Neesmith gets through it pretty well. Burks gets through. Jackson can't block it from behind. Instead, it's an and one for Alec Burks. That was extremely poor pick and roll defense.
Nate, do you mind blocking some?
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's how you know playback has made it.
Woo! And I thought we would see more Alec Burks in the early part of this game than we have, but I think that's because of the Anunoby attempt.
They try to change sides of the floor, and Jackson didn't know the play. Siakam told him to go towards McConnell. Here's Jackson rolling in, and obvious foul there. That's the only thing that can make him miss a non-dunk is Achua just plowing forward into him.
And it is a shame. I'm a big fan of Precious Achiuwa's defense, that his offensive limitations have made it harder for him to play the four, because he's in many ways, he's like one of their best players that is available and healthy. But because of how we saw it short circuit the Knicks offense during various points early in the series, he's pretty much limited to being a backup center with this configuration.
Jackson's touch apparently not extending to the free throw line. Yeah, it would be absolutely remarkable if the Knicks come back and win this game somehow.
Oh, that's Spam's back.
I reported him. I can't do anything else. I just, you guys, I think have the ability to just mute the guy. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have block capabilities.
all right. Well, I'm not gonna be distracted from the game by him anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here's DiVincenzo working against Shepard, who's defended him pretty well. DiVincenzo trying to get open. Shepard gets through the screen. They have to throw it weak side. He throws it away. Now it's Nembhard who's back in the game. McConnell going right at Burks on the crossover, shoots over him and scores. Nice play there. Back to 18 and another timeout. This will surely get Brunson back in the game for Tom Thibodeau. They got him a little bit less than 3 minutes of rest.
Yeah, and so Brunson, Halliburton, they're overlapping rest during that point, a 9-3 run for the Pacers, and it's getting tough for the Knicks already. Let's see.
Do the Knicks have any chance?
Any chance, yes. I mean, they've had some hot shooting stretches, but if you think, and as I do, that New York's offense has actually been a little bit fortunate relative to expectations so far, it's going to take a lot.
Yeah, I don't think you can ever truly trust the Pacers. And you could see them just getting out efforted, just making enough defensive mistakes that the Knicks can get back into it. And obviously they're not going to continue to shoot 7 and 9 from 3. But I think the other problem for the Knicks is just they're so limited now on the defensive end, having to play Burks more. And, Achua is not fantastic there. He'll have some moments at times. They definitely don't want to play Achua next to Hartenstein. That like Achua has not really been empowered to shoot at all, so that gets pretty difficult. And maybe you would try to go that route to just really kill on the glass and just be huge and cut off the rim defensively, but that configuration obviously hasn't worked for them in this series.
Which run to the conference finals is more fraudulent, this Pacers team or the Hawks in 21? For me, it's the Pacers because both both of their opponents face significant injuries. As I recall it, that Sixers team that the Hawks beat, it was just flawed. It wasn't hurt. And
Embiid had his whatever it was, a knee issue, his injury per year, but
relatively speaking,
and like that Knicks team even was healthy. It wasn't like that was the number 4 seed. They weren't good. I picked the Hawks in that series, but the Pacers are not as good as the Bucks, and they're not as good as the Knicks at full strength.
And so we also got a question about which of these teams is closer to real title contention. I actually think it's a pretty close call and depends on what Halliburton's actual level of quality is moving forward, because Halliburton's one hell of a player. And I actually really like a lot of the structures around the Pacers. But the Knicks have been well run. I think that they're more willing to spend. So I actually think it's close, but I'd lean Knicks. And that's true. Well, so right now the Pacers have 14 assists and the Knicks have 12 made baskets. That's a lot.
Yeah, so let's see what happens now with Brunson back in the game if he can get going. Yeah, I've really liked the way Shepherd has played. I think like his effort level, his execution defensively has been pretty good. Like he's not physically dominant by any means, but he at least is not making mistakes. Halliburton remains on the bench. They throw it weak side. Hart, big three. They need it. Left it short. Goes for the rebound, and he knocked it away, but it'll be a loose ball foul as he plowed through McConnell in the end. Yeah, that's incredible that they're 20 of 25 from the field right now. Shepherd, now Nembhard is going to come off the Jackson screen. Instead, he rejects, goes into the lane, sets up Shepherd. Shepherd on the drive, floats it up, and it does drop off the front rim. Nice attack of the closeout under control by Shepherd. They're trying to set that screen way in the backcourt with a guard. Brunson tried to draw the foul, but it was taken away. Shepherd stood tall again. He's been fantastic. Pacers by 20. Siakam has the post up against McBride. They have to double here, you would think. Here it comes from Burks. Shepherd sneaking along the baseline, and then he finds a beautiful pass to Jackson. Great feel again from Shepherd in those interstitial areas.
And some good ball and player movement there. Keeping your eyes out and Shepherd making himself available, then Jackson making himself available.
Hart tries the attack, and a cheap reach in on Nembhard is going to get him to the line when I thought Siakam had that relatively contained.
And that's the second team foul on the Pacers. Nobody's really in difficulty yet for either team. Hartenstein's the only guy even with 2.
And you see there off the double team, there's time for Burks, who had double teamed, to rotate back and take that next pass to Jackson. But that's not the sort of play that Alec Burks is going to really make. Yeah, it is too bad that this is looking like such a blowout so far. We'll see if it maintains, but the Knicks just don't look close to stopping the Pacers, even if they can start to get a few more misses from Indiana. And every Knick bucket seems like it's the result of some sort of Pacers breakdown. Like they're not really just beating them, or that it's they're making a shot that's pretty tough. Nembhard off the screen, pick and pop. Turner fires it over Achua, left it well short, but McConnell keeps it alive. And we're gonna stay here, says Billy Kennedy. McBride can't believe that.
I thought that hit McConnell last, but
me too. But it was too far away to truly see it, I think, and Thibodeau not going to consider a challenge at this point.
No.
They get it into Turner. Halliburton getting a nice rest here. He's been out for 4 minutes. Pick and pop Turner. And he drains it again. Pacers, if they're standing inside that circle, they cannot miss. Good pressure by Indiana. Achua is just going to try Turner, and Turner did well to get back. Now Burks moving off the ball. Nesmith got screened off, and Burks is wide open. Good screen by Achua. Pacers right back into the offensive zone. McConnell turns the corner. Nembhard closed down nicely by Brunson, and he walked.
And I think Nembhard there, he was too deliberate. You know who the guy is on you, and just instead of survey, just attack.
Yeah, and he doesn't react to me quickly enough in those situations. Like either shoot it or go immediately or pass it. He kind of faked, like the jab step just has got to go from basically anyone who's not a primary player in that circumstance. I'm critical the same of Tatum in that circumstance. Here's Burks working on Nesmith. Nesmith cuts him off. Burks, tough shot there. Back to 18.
And like, if that's the diet for the Knicks, I don't think it's going to be enough, especially once Halliburton gets back in.
McConnell, handoff Nesmith, who fumbled it. Now he's going to screen to get Burks into the screening action. Now Nembhard off the screen, goes to the basket, tries to finish, and he does. Beautiful reverse by Andrew Nembhard. And Brunson again being hounded by McConnell. They'll try to set the screen at half court. McConnell backs off. Now they get into the offense. 2 on the ball. They don't find Achua open underneath. Burks working again on Nesmith and can't draw the foul, but he does get his 3rd straight mid-ranger.
And that's Alec Burks getting some points here. And I think he can provide some value for the Knicks in this game 7.
Nembhard picks up his dribble, stuck against Achua, and he traveled again. His 2nd travel in 3 possessions, sandwiched around a bucket. Halliburton has returned. It's now Nesmith on Brunson. Pacers have their starting group except Siakam. Trying to go at Toppin in pick and roll. Here's Brunson into the lane, finds Achua. Turner rotates to him. Achua not really in good position. He's got to get off the ball here. Instead, he's going to try to drive, and he missed it badly. But Turner just loses it.
It just goes out of bounds. And that's one of the limitations of Precious Achua, is that he tries to take Miles Turner into the deep water, but he's not a threat from the deep water. And then, doesn't really have a threat on that drive, but the ball goes off Miles Turner. So
yeah, and there's plenty of time there for him to go interact with a guard. Nembhard is now on Burks. See if they can shut off the water on him a little bit. Achua not looking to shoot that 3. McBride off the pick and roll. Goes at Turner. Turner takes it away from behind. And McBride, I thought he came in from out of bounds there and never reestablished. They don't call that. Here's Burks on another attempt at the finish. And another dumb reach by the Pacers will put Burks at the line.
And we got asked, but it's always good to make sure that we have this out there. We are calling tonight's game as well. We will do the competitive portion of both games.
Oh, yeah.
And we will do a YouTube live for Dunked On Tonight. We're recapping both of these games. We've already recorded on yesterday's, and that has already been released for Dunked On Prime subscribers.
Yeah, we didn't get a look at whether McBride had established himself back in bounds. But Burks keeping the Knicks in it here, looking for 8 straight points, and Rick Carlisle will get the between free throws timeout to try to get him out of rhythm.
Are you more impressed by the Pacers playoffs or their in-season tournament run? In-season tournament run by a lot. I mean, then they were facing a healthy version of those teams in one-off circumstances and played really well. I've been actually extremely critical of the Pacers' performance overall in these playoffs. I think they've mostly, not exclusively, benefited from flawed, injured opponents.
Yeah, I don't think their coaching has been amazing. And Halliburton, the way he's been like so weirdly up and down, and Turner's rim protection has been very up and down as well. And they've been play. How many of these games have they been favored in? Right, at least from our standpoint. So yeah, the in-season tournament run, they beat the Celtics. Although I think the Celtics might not have had Porzingis in that game. And then they beat the Bucks as well. They beat the Sixers in that run, the full-strength Sixers in that run on the road. They beat Cleveland, who I think was also at full strength during that run. Yeah, this will be a controversial, Danny, that the level of play in the in-season tournament might be higher than in the playoffs because teams actually are healthier because it just happens earlier.
It's very possible. So Ball Iguodala asked if a ref gets injured in a game like this, do they have a sub? I believe they do have an alternate.
I think they do in the playoffs. I don't think they do in the regular season.
No, in the regular season, they just have to call it with fewer officials. It happened. A ref, I was like a hamstring issue or something like that happened in a game I was watching this season. They had to go to the back, and so it was 2 officials for the remainder of the game. Oh, that's very cool. Are you cheering for the Pacers for hopes of a better Eastern Conference Finals? In a very vague sense, yes. I want the most competitive series that is possible, and if I feel the Pacers will make it that way, then yes.
Yeah, I
I
do
would.
feel that the whole, "Oh my god, the Knicks are so injured, they're so perseverant, and, like, they're not gonna win, they have no chance to win. They don't really play a particularly aesthetically interesting style, especially with all the injuries." So, I'm really, yeah, I'm kinda just a little like, there just isn't really anything interesting about the Knicks to me anymore.
Can Andrew Nembhard improve to a near all-star level similar to like Mike Conley? I don't think so. I don't think that, you never write it off with anybody. They're always the any chance rule, but Nembhard doesn't have the physical gifts to me to become that kind of player. Remember, Mike Conley was a high-level prospect. Like he was a really, really good player. And young Mike Conley might get lost a little bit to some people who didn't go to college at the same time as he did, which I did. And he was a good physical talent, an unbelievable passer. Nembhard is more of a, like he does things well, but he's not. I don't think he has the capacity to take on a high offensive volume. And while he is a good defender, he's not a superlative defender. So he can do well with the team concept. So
Yeah, I mean, Mike Conley had really long arms and is one of, like, the quickest guys in the league, and a pretty great athlete too. Like, I mean, he's the son of, like, an Olympic gold medal triple jumper who also, have you ever seen and oh yeah, this is just a rehash. There's footage of Mike Conley Sr. in this cross sport athlete dunk contest from like 1991 that he just like completely destroyed at like 6 foot. He's just
that's
throwing down
awesome.
absolutely insane. Like, Deion Sanders coming in, like he goes like, yeah, kind of like a normal reverse, like pretty good for a 6'1" guy. And Mike Conley Jr. is coming in just like windmilling for the free throw line. It's unbelievable.
That's awesome. I want to find
Or
that.
sorry, Mike Conley Sr.
Senior.
Yeah. Nembhard up top gets the screen from Halliburton. They wanted to get Burks switched on to Halliburton. And again, Nembhard, understand what the play is. The play is to get the ball to Tyrese Halliburton with Alec Burks on him. And instead he drives into three guys and he tries to throw the pass, but it's way too late at that point. Like, you got him popping open in his space, throw it to him. Like, the play is not about you. Now Siakam is bottled up as the Knicks got a dunk in transition the other way. Siakam double teamed, cut from Nembhard, and he hits the foul line jumper again. The Pacers, what are they, like 6 for 6 in that? Maybe 7 for 7 from that exact spot.
They're 7 for 8 overall from mid range, but yeah, it might even be better from like that vague like 2-foot spot.
McBride laid the wood on the screen. Brunson across the lane couldn't get separation. Here's Burks. He'll have to fire a really difficult shot. Finally, they get a miss from him. Transition with Nembhard. Brunson's the only one back. Nembhard finding Nesmith wide open, and Nesmith finally hits a shot. He was 0 for 4 in Game 6, but Indiana back in control now, up 19. And again, they're in the face of Brunson. He crosses with 17 on the timer. Halliburton stepping out in the hedge. Halliburton is on McBride. They fire the three, and Turner, good box out position. That was that pick and pop. It was open. That's what they wanted, but McBride couldn't make the shot. Now they got a double team here on Siakam. Halliburton finding Turner. Close out by Brunson. Good deep post position by Siakam, and he blows the layup.
Too close to the basket for them to make it.
Hart going to try to push it into three guys. McBride, nice closeout by Nembhard. Here's Burks going in. I thought he got fouled, and he did. Yeah, he got chucked by Nembhard again, who has made a few pretty bad reaches as a help defender. Usually he's pretty good in that area.
I also thought Miles Turner was too late on the recovery there. He saw Burks driving and just kind of half-assed it to get back in the play. He could have made that not an and one.
Yeah, Nembhard just a useless foul in the end there. And Burks continues to cause problems for Indiana. And all that transition happens because Siakam just smoked that layup. It was great offense by the Pacers to get him that, and he just couldn't make it. They'll screen for Halliburton in the backcourt. Hartenstein back in. Halliburton off the screen. Turns around, gets it back. Turning the corner into the lane. They're not guarding Siakam. Oh, yes!
What a drop pass.
What pass, but Turner misses it, and he costs Halliburton the assist, but he is going to get another point for Indiana on the and one. I mean, that was incredible by Halliburton. I was like, why did he throw it to Siakam in the corner? Well, because you can throw this pass. This is unbelievable. Gets in the air. That establishes the angle to bounce it off the ground. And is that a third on Hartenstein?
No, I think it's going to be on Brunson.
It's going to be... Ooh, no, I think it is Hartenstein.
It is Hartenstein. You're right. That's his third.
Third on Hartenstein. That also is a killer.
I'd keep him in, though. I'd keep him in here.
Oh, you got to. Got to at this point.
And jump passes are cool again.
I mean, were they cool before? I thought that's what every coach says. Don't jump in the air to pass. Here's Brunson now trying to ISO on Nesmith. Bludgeons his way. Goes down. And what a terrible call that is. That is just absolutely nothing there. He said he grabbed him and pulled him down.
I didn't.
We're gonna see let's just see this pass again instead of that terrible foul call.
Awesome.
Yeah, with the Knicks in the bonus. I'd love to see a replay of that foul if there was anything there. It certainly looked like absolutely nothing. And Shepard, who's played well, is going to replace Nesmith. It is interesting that they've had Halliburton on McBride again. I think part of that is because they also have Burks out there. And Brunson gets a couple of free throws. Back down to 17. The Pacers have 64 points, and there's still over 3 minutes left in the half. Halliburton pushing it up, double teamed. They'll get into their offense. McBride off the screen. Here's Siakam. Back to Halliburton. Halliburton, they won't let him go right. Now he gets space, goes to the fading mid-ranger, and just drains it. I would like to see more of that from Halliburton at times.
16 points, 6 and 9 from the field, 3 assists, no turnovers.
It's 4 assists if Turner hadn't missed that first layup. Now Brunson trying to create space, and it rims out. Left it short. It didn't get the roll. Here's Nembhard on the push. He can go right at Brunson here. Kick out Siakam. Halliburton going left, goes right in. Stopped by Achua. Nice block.
Yeah, great
and
play.
And it is Achua in the game rather than Hartenstein with the 3 fouls.
I love Precious Achua's ability to move his feet, and there are ways that teams can utilize that well. I don't know that it's always going to be the Knicks, but he did well with Halliburton on that play.
So what? Oh, is that a foul call?
They're challenging the out of bounds call.
Okay.
There is no foul call.
Generally, they'll probably get this call. I would imagine they saw something.
But isn't this didn't the Knicks already challenge something?
Yeah, this is their last one, I think.
So yes, that appears to be an incorrect call. That ball went off of Tyrese Halliburton, but as far as I can tell,
it's going to hit his right arm as he's trying to get a piece of it. Yeah, good. Yeah. That's a good catch by whoever it is on the sideline, whose job that is.
But it not taking a foul off the board, so it swings a possession. I mean, I guess that's better than most, but you never know what could come in.
Yeah, I guess you're also you feel like yeah, so I stopped talking. I don't know if you guys could see it on the cast that Mark Davis was talking. He said it does touch Halliburton's hand again. So, and I don't know if Achua ever even makes.
I don't think Achua ever touched the ball. Actually, maybe he did very early as he was going out.
Yeah, so it didn't even matter with that second touch. But maybe the feeling is. So 19-point game. Here's Brunson pulling up, and he missed that one. He's missed a few that he was making at times earlier in these playoffs, but he clearly has not been the same other than maybe in game 5 since he hurt himself in game 2. Here's Siakam, another Indiana mid-ranger, and so the Knicks get nothing out of the challenge in the end. They are now down by 21. Shepard is now the man on Brunson. Brunson rejecting the screen, and he'll pick up a cheap foul. And Siakam says, got to keep your hand out of there, Ben. Yeah, and the biggest thing is for the Knicks is just not having any kind of size outside of the center position anymore.
Yeah, it's a huge problem for them.
And we have not seen OG since that first 5 minutes. And I think, particularly considering that he's going to be a free agent, he should not have been out there. And I think they tried to kind of get the Willis Reed-like reaction early on. But when you can't run, you probably shouldn't be playing basketball. That's a pretty good rule of thumb.
And Joel corrected me. The terminology that Caitlin Cooper uses is jump passes are good now, which is right. I should have gotten that considering how much I read her and how often I have her on my show. I should get that right.
It's only 1 out of 2. Here's Halliburton. Got his pass deflected. Nice play there by the Knicks. It's Burks. Halliburton runs him down, and now Burks going to try to back down. Goes right around Nembhard. Here's Achua on the cut, and he dunks it. Turner couldn't quite get back into the play. Halliburton will set the screen here, and hopefully they actually get it back to him. They don't. Instead, it's Turner. Corner Siakam. A little slow to make the decision, but he's got the advantage on Hart. He'll back down. 7 to shoot. Wants to turn baseline. Goes through the arm of Hart, and it'll be free throws for Pascal Siakam. And that's something I think Pascal should probably add to his game a little bit more. Like, that's how you get a foul call instead of just falling down every time.
Oh, so as a point of clarification, that was the Knicks' first challenge, and it was successful. So each team has exactly 1 remaining.
Okay.
I don't know how long we'll be obsessing over those kinds of details, but I wanted to have it out there.
Yeah, Siakam struggled from the line early in these playoffs and was able to get back on track. I think he had a 7 for 9 game early in this series, and he's been pretty reliable since then.
Yeah, and it was weird because Siakam is not an inconsistent free throw shooter, as I recall it. Like he's had some rougher years, but I mean, yeah, just overall in the season he was 73%, and then he's at 58 in the playoffs.
Yeah, I think part of how Indiana's been able to build this lead is they have cleaned up the defensive glass. Eamon noting in the comments that Turner has actually been good on the boards today. I think that's right.
Yeah, Knicks only have a 23% offensive rebound rate. That is low.
So it is Shepard now rather than Nembhard with the matchup on Brunson. Brunson has the speed and strength advantage on him, and he's going to go up through the arm and score again. I think it was Turner who might have reached in. And again, you've seen the Pacers. How many points have they given away with just dumb reach fouls despite being up by 18?
I mean, considering the Knicks have taken 13, this will be the 13th free throw attempt that they will have taken in the game. A lot of those have been unnecessary fouls by the Pacers.
Yeah, and that foul is on Turner. Back to 17. They want to get the 2 for 1 here. Halliburton will set the screen. They don't give it to him again. And Siakam for 3 left it short. And then at the exact same bounce out that Brunson suffered. Here's Hart on the push. Trying to go right into Nembhard. Back to Brunson. DiVincenzo. Nice closeout by Nembhard that time. But DiVincenzo does get the floater. That was a good play by Nembhard. He cut off the drive initially on one side of the floor and forced DiVincenzo off the line, but DiVincenzo scores anyway.
And this should be the last functional shot of the quarter. Generally, teams should go a little earlier in these circumstances, but they'll be okay.
Siakam going to run pick and roll. Halliburton sets the screen. Siakam rejects it, goes into the lane. Offensive foul. He pushed Achua out of the way, and he did go too early in the end. They've got 7.8 to get back into it. 15 is as close as they've been, and they could get even closer here. That would be a big win for New York, given what's taken place. They're going to take out Halliburton, put in McConnell for defensive purposes.
And the lead has only been less than 15, I believe, for like one part of the second quarter.
Yeah, here's Siakam as he picks the ball up. Yeah, it gets right into his chest. I love that call. Doesn't get called enough, in my opinion. Brunson double team. Now he's going to try to bring it up against McConnell. Screen in the backcourt. Siakam picks up Brunson. Brunson blows by him. Blocked from behind. That is a good block. They won't get it off in time, but great play by Siakam. I thought he was dead, but he is able to swallow up that shot by Brunson, who didn't quite have enough craft to finish it. And Indiana leaves New York with a ton of work to do, up by 15, as we see. Yes, a fantastic block by Siakam all the way up at the square. So we'll talk to you all about 13 minutes here. All right, let's get back to it here now and give you a few interesting stats that emerged. Dan had this one, 39 points in the first quarter and 70 in the first half. 39 is the most ever in a Game 7 first quarter, and 70 is tied for the second most ever in a Game 7 first half by the Pacers. This is also the best shooting half in any playoff game in the last 25 years. I assume that's just field goal percentage. Yeah, 76% is what the Pacers shot. And then also we'll keep in mind that the largest ever comeback actually occurred about 2 weeks ago. I think exactly 2 weeks ago. Orlando blowing an 18-point lead to the Cavs. That's the largest ever comeback in a Game 7. So if the Knicks can pull this off, it would be the largest ever comeback in a Game 7. They trailed by 22 at one point and are down 15 right now.
And it is no OG Anunoby on the court, so we can assume he will not play the rest of this game.
Yeah, I assume the Knicks PR staff is on top of telling us that he's out for the rest of the game. But so here's Halliburton. Nesmith off the screen. Now pitch back to Halliburton. Halliburton gets into the lane, floats the pass to Siakam. Late clock. Nesmith should have taken that three. He's going to get a worse shot right now. He doesn't even get it off. You got to just pull that one. You got to know with 3.5 left on the clock, there isn't time to drive and create another advantage. So the Knicks, a rare stop, although they didn't actually force a Pacers miss in the end. Brunson hanging out by the free throw line. He'll come off the Hart screen. A little zoom action here. Good pick and roll defense by Turner to prevent the initial advantage. Brunson into the lane.
Nembhard
got completely lost. And Hart has the offensive rebound. That's how the Knicks are going to have to do it. Underneath, DiVincenzo plows into two guys. McBride on the move from 2-point range. Good box out by Turner on Hartenstein.
On that play, Andrew Nembhard was guarding Dante DiVincenzo, didn't look at him once, and DiVincenzo relocated without him ever moving.
And that's going to be an offensive foul. He makes that shot. Would you challenge here? I would think about it because I don't know that he's not in his path, I would say, quite. Now, there is a little bit of a push off with the arm, but not too much of one.
I don't think I would.
I mean, it could have been 3 points and also a foul on Nesmith. I think it was pretty high value. Brunson going into Nesmith, now into the lane. Turner just rejects him. Nice job there by Turner. He avoided the Gortat screen attempt of Hartenstein, and Turner's been very solid protecting the rim today. Yeah, see Hartenstein trying to hold him. He has to let him go, and Turner pops off the ground for the block shot. Hand back. Brunson gets open. Now he's going to get past Turner. Had to rush it, though. Rebound Hartenstein. Siakam is on Brunson.
We're still scoreless here, right?
We are. Minute 30 in. Brunson into the lane. Now Hartenstein left it way short. He hasn't been as reliable with that floater. And we'll get a jump ball here. Knicks pounding the offensive glass, but they never hit the rim. So if they do win this tip, they'll have only 2.4 to work with. And again, we've got some little fighting, trying to get position in the jump ball here. And it's won by Siakam. Goes right into Brunson, though. And Siakam made a great play to block him from behind it. They will count this. I thought that actually was a good block. Carlisle looking speculatively back at the bench. And I think it might be over the rim at that point.
Over the cylinder. Yeah, that was my thought. Is like it might have been.
Yeah, they do not challenge
version of goaltending.
Knicks strike first. They've gotten a lot of second opportunities, and that was Siakam winning the tip was actually the worst thing that could have happened for the Pacers. Here's Halliburton moving without the ball. Finally missed one. McBride on the push. Blows by Nembhard for the easy layup, and Carlisle wants to talk it over. the end of the first half was pretty ugly for the Pacers, and now the start here, as the Knicks are back in contact, really for the Pacers, they just have to score, keep scoring. They should be able to do that, because I don't know that they can stop the Knicks over the course of a full game.
Yeah, so it has been a 10-point cut of the margin for the New York Knicks since 2:01 remained in the second quarter. So that is 4 minutes of game time to cut 10 points off the margin, just separated by the halftime break.
And that is incredibly terrible for the Pacers with 2.4 on the shot clock to tip it back under your own basket.
Yeah, like
to a guy
Siakam could have
for a
just hit
layup.
it Siakam could just hit it the other way.
I mean, yeah, I don't know where he was trying to go with it exactly. I can't remember in my mind where everyone was lined up perfectly, but he just, yeah, you probably, like, with 2.4 left, even if you just lose the tip, Hartenstein's trying to knock it backwards. Like, they're not going to get a good shot off there. Like, that's basically the only way things could go wrong is you tip it under your own basket. Yeah, the Knicks do say OG is still available in theory.
So Dion asks, who are you rooting for the next game? No rooting interest. I want it to be a well-played, well-officiated, healthy game. And whichever team wins, I hope they deserve it and then play great in the conference finals. But both of them would be plenty fun. I don't have a dog in that fight.
Yeah, well, it's basically the two teams that I've like wrongly been too low on the most, I would say, over the last couple of years. So and probably, I think I'd probably prefer Denver. I just think Jokic is so good. I want to see Denver Boston. Like, that's the series that I've been wanting to see all year.
Yeah, we never got it last year.
And I think Minnesota will, certainly provide a good series going forward, and that they'll have obviously earned it if they beat Denver. I mean, both those teams are pretty healthy. What do you think happens from here now? You Pacers going to restore order?
I think they'll restore order. Their offense has generated a couple of things, and they're better. They're better than the Knicks are right now. So yeah, I think they push it back to like 16. I wouldn't be stunned though if the Pacers lost this game.
I wouldn't be stunned if the Pacers lost any game.
Yeah, they've lost the rope in so many weird occasions over the last few weeks. As it's just like, yeah, it could happen again.
I actually watched some of the 1995 game 7 that Ewing missed the layup on right at the end that could have tied it. Good pressure by the Knicks here. Pacers not getting into what they want to run. Yeah, they couldn't even get the ball to Nembhard. Siakam will have to go one-on-one. And he does not get the foul call. Knicks can cut it to single digits now. DiVincenzo pulls up for three. Yes!
Whoa! And now it's not only single digits, it's 8. And Garden's getting popping.
After that record-setting first half, have not scored. Here's Haliburton. Throws it to nobody. And, are they lucky to recover that? They had no spacing there. And they're starting to get a little bit of a timing here on some of those jump passes by Haliburton, getting some deflections. Garden Crot is definitely into it. Haliburton has DiVincenzo behind him going for the steal. Now it's Siakam guarded by Hartenstein. Oh, and DiVincenzo just lost Haliburton. What a killer play.
Pacers haven't generated anything, and then you give up an open shot to the
Just an
best player.
atrocious reach there by DiVincenzo off their best shooter. He was pointing like he expected someone else to go get Halliburton, but that's kind of absurd. Now Brunson steps back for three. That is a huge shot. And Brunson has been so cold from three-point range in this series. Yeah, they've got Hart hiding out on Turner. Here's Siakam rolling to the basket. Nembhard back to Siakam. Nice pass there. Beautiful look. And Turner saying he was shooting. We'll see if they give that to him. But that was a really nice duck in by Turner, the sort of pass, again, that Halliburton can make. And that Halliburton and Siakam pick and roll should be pretty good now that they have the center guarding Siakam. I think that's better to go to than Siakam isolating against Hartenstein. Oh, nice little screen there by Halliburton, but Siakam didn't try to go off of it. Late clock. Oh, and another terrible double by DiVincenzo, and they get lucky. Nesmith, effort play for the Pacers. Nesmith's wide open in the corner. Throw it to him. Now Siakam will miss the layup, another missed layup. But, I mean, Nesmith is wide open in the corner for the whole possession. They didn't throw it to him. Here's Hart. Blows through Halliburton, who had just absolutely zero physicality from Halliburton. Pacers have only 3 points in the quarter. Here's Nembhard on the drive, and he finishes. Once again, running off a make by the Pacers.
It's their best offense right now.
Going after Halliburton and pick and roll. Brunson finding McBride wide open, can't make a pay, and Hartenstein, no, we're going to stay here. I thought Hartenstein hit that, but a great effort by him.
I don't even really know what the Pacers' scheme was there, because they didn't ever bring anybody to McBride. It wasn't like they were like helping and recovering. They just kind of left the guy right next to the ball handler open.
Yeah, well, because they went at Halliburton, who's the guy guarding McBride. Brunson stepping through. Hart will back it out. He's going to have to ISO on Nembhard. Goes to the step back three. Left it well short, and Nesmith comes back for the board. Clearly, that must have been an emphasis as they throw it ahead again to Siakam. Double team. Hartenstein has him. Yeah, Brunson should get out of there, and he does. Going back to the Halliburton, Siakam pick and roll. Siakam rolls out of there. Good rotation by Hart off of Turner. Siakam gets it down there, and Brunson with the hold on Turner. I like the Pacers emphasizing this. You run that pick and roll, but then you've got Turner ducking in, particularly if they're going to rotate another guy over in Hart. Then you've got Turner with almost a foot height advantage on anyone remaining on the floor.
Hartenstein and Nesmith have 3 fouls. No one has 4. That's the second team foul on New York.
Hart trying to pressure Turner. Turner looking to hand off to Siakam. No foul there. Halliburton going to screen for Siakam. Rejects it. Siakam into the lane. Here's Nesmith going around Brunson. Pulls up from the... Hey, where is that on the floor again?
the spot that has like a little red arrow under it.
It's unbelievable. I think they're like 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Oh, and then there's a terrible defensive sequence, leaving DiVincenzo wide open. They didn't want to switch that, I guess, because they don't want Nembhard on Brunson, but just wide open. Here's Halliburton blowing past DiVincenzo in the backcourt. Siakam, they're going to go into the post for Turner here against the smaller Hart. Turner feeling him with his back. Goes to the spin move, and he lost it out of bounds. He had him beaten on the drop step, but couldn't control the ball. Nembhard is on Brunson. Good help by Halliburton that time. Knocks it away, and McConnell is going to come in maybe a little earlier than normal here. I would imagine he'll take out either Nesmith or Nembhard.
Let's see, he came in for Nembhard.
McConnell is on Brunson. Oh, nice no-look pass into the corner, but then McBride throws it away. Bad decision off the closeout. Siakam is on the push here. Nice adjustment by Halliburton to find that ball. Turner is open a foot behind the line, and back ribbon down. Indiana back up double digits.
Big sequence with that bad pass from McBride, eventually yielding a 3-pointer lead back up to 10. But the Knicks are still pushing here. I think they still have a chance to break this back.
Only the 7th points off turnover puts Indiana's ridiculous offensive performance in perspective. There's a steal by Halliburton. Ahead, Brunson trying to run him down. Halliburton finishes. And Tom Thibodeau needs to talk it over. Back-to-back Knick turnovers. Halliburton, the one thing he can do defensively is make plays with his hands, and that was a beautiful play in the pocket to intercept.
And Brunson's fortunate. I thought that was going to end up being an and one because it was a pretty weak foul attempt by him, but he missed Halliburton enough that they didn't call it.
And we didn't talk about this at the time, but that's another one of those great passes by Halliburton when you're driving baseline, when you're driving towards the rim, to turn and throw it back to the top for a three is a pass that very few guys can make, and he's made that a number of times today.
And before this last sequence, the Knicks had only turned the ball over twice in the entire game, and only one of those was live ball. And instead, they have 2 steals and 5 points off those 2 steals.
Catch up a little bit on some stats here. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Indiana's turned it over on 19% of their possessions. That's the only thing remotely keeping the Knicks in this. And like they're doing basically like they're not getting to the foul line at all, Indiana. And they're just hitting every single shot. They're 14 of 15 on twos away from the rim right now. And I want to see what just specifically the free throw line area looks like on the shot chart too.
On the plot?
Yeah.
It's a lot of green, man. A lot of green.
Yeah, I mean, the one that they missed from mid-range was right elbow. That was Siakam. They have made, let's see here, literally in the circle, they've made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 shots just in the circle.
And like the Knicks are a totally respectable 12 of 22 on twos away from the basket. Like that's a totally good normal rate.
But the Knicks have a 130 offensive rating in this game.
Yeah. And part of that's because they've turned the ball over so rarely with the shift. Any schematic adjustments for either team? I don't know that we've seen much overall. And we've seen a few opportunistic doubles from the Pacers, but that's just because they don't want to leave Halliburton on Brunson. I haven't seen much.
Yeah, would the Knicks consider coming back with Burks? That does kind of force Halliburton to guard more guys. I think for New York, especially with Hart so limited, they probably have to have Hartenstein on Siakam. But that's opening up the pick and roll. I think I would go McBride on Halliburton rather than DiVincenzo.
Same.
Which maybe it's hard to tell sometimes because it's transition of what the matchup is supposed to be.
If we have enough time, I can answer this question from SSS of what tabs I have open. So I have Cleaning the Glasses game specific. I have shot charts. I have the official box score, which updates each quarter roughly. I have ESPN's live updating. I have the official box. I have another official box that I have. I have the play-by-play, and I have an outline, which is where I keep my notes. Those are the main ones I have open. So I have like 9 different tabs between that and these, and then anything else that comes up over the course of it, like for researching and stuff.
Yeah, and the shot chart I use is just on the main game page for NBA.com.
Yeah, it's publicly available. Almost everything there is not proprietary or anything like that.
Yeah, we have access to like the exact same live box score that's used in the game just because of the league pass stuff. And is that a 5-second call?
I think it is.
Wow. After a timeout, and I'm sure you don't provide anything as far as like, here's how we're going to get the ball in bounds full court at that point in the game. So Toppin is in now. That puts Hartenstein back on Turner. Nesmith blows to the rim, and with Hartenstein guarding the strong side corner in Turner, he did not want to move, and Pacers back in control now via a 7-0 run.
7-0 run, all of which comes off Knicks turnovers.
A great screen by Hartenstein, but Brunson didn't really take advantage of it with a quick move. He's going to try to post up. No real advantage for Hart off the pass. He's going to try to get in on Halliburton, and another dumb Pacers foul bails out the Knicks. Well, and that's on Brunson too. They wanted the play, I'm sure, involved him like coming off the baseline, but he just didn't recognize, as Hart makes the free throw, he didn't recognize that his teammates were in trouble until it was too late.
Oh, in terms of which official box score is best, I generally use ESPN's with there's a plugin on Chrome. I think it's called
Yeah.
Enhanced ESPN Box Score. That's
Yeah.
generally my favorite of those for kind of live updating general purposes. And then
Well, I like it the most because you can fit both teams' box scores
hold it
on
next
like
to
a
each other.
normal computer monitor and see the whole thing all at once without having to scroll. That's the best part of that. Halliburton out of the corner, pick and roll with Turner. Gets into the lane. Toppin, nice close down by Hart. Toppin looking to pass it to somebody. It's into the backcourt. And Hartenstein, no, he saved it. Is that going to be
But
control? I thought that was control. They're going to have to shoot this immediately. He gets it off, but Toppin is there. That should have been a foul, I thought, on Hart. And that probably should have been a transition take foul on Obi Toppin. And
that
now
could have
here's
been a travel.
McBride into the lane, and he lays it in somehow. Back to 10. Here's Halliburton getting past DiVincenzo into the lane. What a pass! And the Neesmith is going to get past Hart here, pulls up another Pacers mid-ranger, and
of course,
he ain't missing that. No chance. Oh, it's better. There's the McConnell steal. And one!
And that's Hartenstein's fourth.
What a killer sequence for the Knicks. They have 2 turnovers in their own backcourt. Yeah, I mean, that's just Brunson again. And this is what will happen when you're tired, when you're injured. And part of that is Hartenstein just throwing it into him. But it's also Brunson just being like, your mental energy of just, and that's what the pressure that McConnell puts on you of just, all right, I got to like actually execute here, seal him off just to get the ball in bounds. Brunson's thinking about what he's going to do down at the other end, what play they're going to run. And he just doesn't react to the ball quickly enough. Now McBride on the attack. He tried to dunk on Turner, and Turner said, no, sir.
And I don't think they're going to call that. I thought Hartenstein grabbed Toppin on that rebound, and that would have been his fifth.
Yeah, that's a good no call to me. Yeah, so he gets a hand on it. It's amazing how much ground these guys can cover in like 2 steps, protecting the rim. Brunson getting a rest now with Pacers back up 15. McBride trying to beat Toppin. Hand back Hartenstein. Hart is wide open, left it well short again. He can't get the steam on those shots. Halliburton, more transition. Backs out on DiVincenzo. Tough fading 3. Oh, baby.
And now it's 18 with 15 minutes to go.
Nice response by the Pacers here. Another 8-0 run. It was down to 7, 77-70, and it's been 15-4 since then. DiVincenzo goes backdoor into the lane, tries to float it up with the left hand, and he throws it over the backboard.
I believe that one's called a pigeon.
Yeah, this is Tyrese Halliburton's signature shot. He's gathering the ball to shoot that. Look where he's picking the ball up from. He knows it's going up. And just nobody else other than maybe Steph takes that shot in the league. And I will give Tyrese Halliburton credit. He is living up to what we thought his potential could be in the playoffs tonight. Admittedly, against a Knicks team that is missing a couple of really good defenders effectively against him. Turner looking for Halliburton. No, it goes to McConnell instead. McConnell on the drive. He's tripped by Hart. And McConnell is down, but gets up easily.
And that's the 4th team foul on the Knicks and the 4th personal foul on Josh Hart. That's a trip. Clear call.
Yep. Yeah, and even if you want to, if a guy steps like that, you can almost just aim for his foot and fall down. It'll be a foul on him. I don't think he was doing that in that case.
And so we'll get a few Precious Achua at the 5 minutes. And that's, I think that Achua can do reasonably well, but it'll be harder for the Knicks to
Flare
score.
screen for Haliburton. Gets past DiVincenzo, kicks out. McConnell, he gets into the lane. Haliburton was open. Pass was too late. He gets it off anyway. Rebound Toppin goes to the left hand. He should have
Why did he
just
just do
strong.
that right-handed? Yeah.
He felt hard behind him, but you got to go up stronger than that.
If you go up hard with that, the only thing that happens if you don't make it is a foul. Like, they're just going to call it.
Good denial by DiVincenzo. Now they'll bring McConnell to the top of the floor. They change sides instead with Turner. Toppin, back up top, McConnell. Pacers flow offense. In effect, McConnell goes up. Toppin, no. But he got shoved in the stomach by Hart.
And again, if you go aggressively there, then they're going to do that. And that's Josh Hart's 5th foul.
I didn't see a ton there from Hart. Let's see it. Yeah, okay.
His left hand's there. You put your hand on a guy in the air, they're going to call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that affects him.
Yeah, I mean, the pass was too high. He doesn't really get off the ground.
Yeah, but like,
well.
Josh Hart doesn't have to have his hand there. Like, just don't.
No, I mean, I don't think that's what caused him to miss. Although he does miss the free throw.
The only thing the Pacers can miss at the free throw line are free throws. Because Jackson missed one and then that one.
Siakam's going to return for Turner. They'll go to the Siakam and Toppin front court. Haliburton going to sit down here. So this will be a very good running unit for Indiana. Toppin, of course, drafted by the Knicks, number 8 overall, over Tyrese Haliburton, ironically enough. And it's back to 19 for Indiana. It would take a truly insane comeback now for New York. And Brunson is still on the bench. They're going to see if they can get Burks hot going against Shepherd. Drop coverage by Siakam. Shepherd gets back in front, and I didn't see much there.
I saw nothing there.
Maybe he had his right arm in the cookie jar a little bit. With Brunson out, probably a good time to give Haliburton a rest. He went the entire first quarter, and I like Carlisle sticking with him longer than he normally would in that circumstance because that's when he was red hot. And that stretch is really what it looks like is probably going to have won them the game. That was 14 points in like a 3-minute period by him.
Well, that and I've been thinking about the Knicks getting outscored by 6 in the early Anunoby minutes when he couldn't play, and Anunoby made 2 threes.
Yeah, well, yeah, one was a line too, but
oh yeah, sure.
Here's Siakam now. They go under on McConnell. Rescreen. McConnell pops off the ground. That's such a tough shot right there. He just gets going so fast, throws the ball out in front of him, and then gathers and pops off the ground before the defense can react. Here's DiVincenzo again. Not good enough from Aaron Nesmith.
There's basically
Nesmith is just hanging out under the basket.
There is exactly one New York Knick who is taking and making 3-pointers, and he is open constantly.
Yeah, I mean, Nesmith was standing in the paint on that play. I didn't understand why. Now he'll drive, floats it up, and finishes over Achua. Pacers just keep scoring, and even with that huge drought at the start of the quarter, they've put up 27 in this period. Achua on the drive blew it, but tipped by Hart. Toppin did not box out.
And Josh Hart is playing with 5 fouls in the third quarter. Might as well.
I thought McConnell missed Siakam going to the basket. Now Siakam will interact with McConnell again. They try to go under, rescreen, force him to go over. McConnell pops it up again and scores again.
And the non-Brunson, non-Haliburton minutes going as well as they have for the Pacers in both halves is a big problem for the Knicks.
Burks trying to get going against Shepherd again. Little early for the 2-for-1. He'll just fire the 3, moving to his right. How did he rattle that in? That had no arc.
It was a laser.
Down to 15 here. Pacers 2 for 1. They're getting into it a little too slowly now. Change the angle of the screen. Back to Siakam. Office hours. They missed one from there, Danny. They've missed one from inside the circle. 5-second differential now. DiVincenzo up top against Nesmith. They want to go after Toppin and pick and roll. DiVincenzo crosses up. Tough three. Toppin defended it well. They got plenty of time here now.
Toppin was open.
Toppin is still trying to post up down low. Nesmith's going to go right in. Leaves it for Toppin and the easy layup with 1.9.
Nesmith also got hacked there. And that misses.
And DiVincenzo got run into as he tried to contest. It looked like maybe he got hit in the thigh. But that was a killer there with DiVincenzo going as early as he did. And what is McConnell shooting in this game?
TJ McConnell, 5 of 6 from the field, 5 of 5 inside the arc.
Wow. And it's all basically that exact same shot.
So there were no points scored. There was a brief stretch where Brunson was off the floor and Halliburton was still on, but there were no points during that. So since Halliburton, in the non-Halliburton minutes, non-Halliburton there, it was about even this time. So it went from 92-74, or actually let's say 93-74 to 101-84. So slight Knicks advantage, but not significant.
Yeah, Pacers really cooled off on three-pointers. They were 3 of 7 after 8 of 12 in the first half.
Is the in-season tournament success a predictor of East playoff success? Well, it is if you happen to face 2 injured opponents in your first round. Then it's a pretty good predictor.
Yeah.
Like the Indiana Pacers should have lost. They would have lost in the first round. But appreciation for what they're doing. You play who's in front of you, and even if you don't play them very well, if you win, you win. And as Dion said, not for the Lakers, it wasn't. That's true. But they said West. But yeah, it's.
Just catching up a little bit of news here. See if there's anything interesting.
And I mean, so one of the things that's keeping the Knicks in it, I mean, they're not turning the ball over except for that notable stretch where they did it like 4 times in about a minute and a half. Outside of that, they've been clean. They've been good on the offensive glass, but the Pacers, this is one of those things that can happen in a weird game like this. The Pacers have fewer individually credited offensive rebound rates or individually credited offensive rebounds, but they have a better offensive rebound rate because they basically missed no shots. So they have 5 individually credited offensive rebounds, and the Knicks have 7, but because the Pacers have only missed 18 shots from the field in the game, better rebound rate.
Brunson is back in the locker room. Apparently Rick Brunson went back with him. Is that okay? Like they can actually do without Rick Brunson's voice on the bench, like, calling plays and stuff? They could do without him? But yeah, of more real concern is that there may be something going on with Brunson. He has been out for quite a long time, considering the stakes. This would not be Tom Thibodeau's normal MO. And yeah, as we noted, the Pacers, I think they didn't score for maybe the first 3.5 minutes of the quarter. They finished with 31 points in the quarter, and they extend the lead in the end.
Well, you'd ask the question so theoretically, if it was a Wolves Pacers finals, which I don't expect to happen, like, would that be the smallest market NBA finals ever?
I don't know that Minneapolis is that small of a market. I think Minneapolis is actually pretty mid.
I'm trying to think of the smallest market that San Antonio or Portland ever played. But I think Portland, when they got there, it was like Philly. Well, there was a Minneapolis-Syracuse final in 54, if we're going back that far.
Here's Burks going to fire that same 3. Achua getting inside position, and we'll see whether this is going to be a shooting foul or not. Jackson, not the greatest defensive rebounder, and yeah, it'll just be side out as the foul took place before Achua's shot attempt.
Oh yeah, somebody. Fort Wayne played Syracuse in 55.
Yeah, that's probably the smallest markets. And we'll get a trip here. Jackson again has picked up 2 fouls in 18 seconds.
And that could potentially matter later if the game is close enough for it to matter.
Knicks a chance to strike first, and notable that Brunson is still out. Burks setting up Hart. Hart didn't really have his feet set, and he wasn't short that time, but he couldn't get it.
And a good rebound by Ben Shepherd, who's played well in this game.
Oh, nice post up there. Oh, I thought Hart held Siakam, and Siakam throws it into the sideline. Yeah. It looks like Hart was holding Siakam's right arm, so he couldn't get his hand on the ball.
If Siakam had turned slightly differently, he actually had Shepherd wide open in the corner. It's just that wasn't where he was looking when he was recovering it.
And now DiVincenzo goes into Jackson. Jackson picks up a third foul in 45 seconds. DiVincenzo hits the first free throw. Certainly he'll be a focus of the Knick offense here. I mean, yeah, just having the hand slightly on the back, that to me is quite marginal contact. I didn't see anything there really at all. Shepherd, flare screen for McConnell. McConnell going to try McBride. Now Siakam out of the corner. Chua stayed with him. Now it's another handoff. Nembhard in the corner, moving without the ball. Tried to find Jackson underneath on the no look. It got deflected. Now it's Burks coming in. Burks is stripped. McConnell got him. Here's a bust out by Indiana. Jackson, he threw it to him too early. And of course, Isaiah Jackson with another beautiful non-dunk finish.
The weirdest subplot of these playoffs.
Yeah, that's
great
incredible
pick there
strip.
by
McConnell.
And I would say in some ways that's the least convincing pass fake by Isaiah Jackson. I don't know that I've ever seen him make that pass, but it worked.
Well, I was surprised Shepherd gave it up that early, but Jackson was able to finish it, and he finishes out the three-point play as well, back to 18. There have been brief moments of promise for the Knicks, but they just don't have the talent right now, particularly with Brunson apparently unavailable. Here's DiVincenzo, and again, they just that they should just run that play every single time at this point.
Donte DiVincenzo, 7 of 12 from 3, rest of team 3 of 16.
I can't believe they keep giving that up. Shepherd. Now Achua going to defend Siakam in isolation. Siakam
of course
rattles it in. Was he inside that circle?
I think he was outside, but
he was very close to being outside. That's why it didn't go straight in. It kind of rattled in. DiVincenzo going to pull again on Nembhard, and he drains it again. He's lighting up Nembhard just as bad as Nembhard got lit up by Jalen Brunson earlier in the series. Step up screen. McConnell, he got Hartenstein moving backwards and was able to find that little spot on the corner of the backboard. Brunson has fractured his hand. Is that what they were saying in the comments here?
Shams and Haynes have it.
Wow. Well, now I'm really rooting for Indiana. I mean, Jesus Christ. And they're going to get a foul from behind on McBride. The referee not really in position to see that, about 10 steps behind. Fracture, that's his left hand too. So, for God's sake, let the Pacers win this now. If they blow this and we have to watch an entire conference finals,
we don't have to watch it.
Yeah, I'm afraid we do. That's our job.
Yeah, we do. It's our job.
I mean, it might be on the see if it's close and watch it if it is planned, but
I don't think we have to talk. I don't think we have to be concerned about that. The Pacers are about to go up 18 with 9 minutes to go. No Jalen Brunson. Sorry, 17. Announcer jinx. It applies here.
oh, then Shepard just knocks it away. Nembhard, corner, Shepard. I do like that Shepard never takes a bad shot. He's grown on me in these playoffs. Maybe as the Knicks have gotten more and more injured, he's looked better. Shepard will pick up Burks in transition now. They go under on him. He'll try again. McBride, spin move, long two. All right, we can. If the Pacers score again, we can probably turn this off.
And Halliburton's hasn't even come back on the floor yet.
No, here's Siakam down the lane. Nembhard, corner three. Missed it. Shepard tip. Somehow squirts out. DiVincenzo on the drive. He missed the layup. Jackson bothered him. DiVincenzo trying to sprint back into it. Here's Siakam. And what is this? Technical foul? Timeout by Rick Carlisle?
Yes. Timeout by Rick Carlisle. I think we're done here, but we can decide. Is it still viable to regard TJ McConnell with the center? He's gotten better. He's had a better playoffs overall. I think it's still worth considering at some points, but he's been pulling the mid-ranger and he's taken some threes in this series. So I don't think it's as viable a strategy as I once did.
Yeah, because you could set a screen for him and then he would just like pull it from a place where he's very comfortable. Celtics will try it though. The Celtics tried it actually in the in-season tournament loss. Celtics will definitely try that. And it's also like he's killing you when you're not guarding him with the center. Like they guarded him with Luke Cornett in that in-season tournament game. I'm very curious to see how effective he's going to be, though, and how good he was. Which again, as we noted, he never gets to the foul line. He never shoots a three. So he actually, I think, before Game 6, I haven't looked at it recently, he had 49% true shooting for the playoffs.
So I presume Halliburton's going to come in here as well.
One would hope.
When was the last time we had a mediocre conference finals team as these Pacers? The Blazers are the first one that comes. Oh, the Hawks. Like this Pacers team to me is off the cuff. I think I like this Pacers team at their like better versions better than that Hawks team.
I think that Hawks team actually had lost Hunter by the conference finals.
I believe
obviously
they had.
Trey goes down. I think it was in Game 3, and then he was a shell of himself after that. I don't think he even played in the Game 4 that fucking Lou Williams won for him in the Bucks series. And then Giannis went out too.
Well, what the Clippers made it without Kawhi, right?
Yes.
And that was in 21.
Yeah. They at least had like pretty good spacing though.
Mm-hmm.
And
that was one of those good shooting teams.
PG pretty close to the peak of his powers. You know, Batum, Marcus Morris, like those guys were all still pretty effective players.
But and the 19 Blazers were just not that good a team. Like that was the year where all four of the best teams in the West were on the same side of the bracket.
2017 Celtics were pretty terrible. So yeah, let's see what happens to his hand. When he just reached in and Here's a Siakam 3, and we'll see you guys for Wolves Denver. Great having you guys here. Sorry this one wasn't a little closer, but I think we are going to get a better conference finals as a result. Talk to you guys in a little over 2 hours.